Hey guys, let's get started with episode 16. You'll see I've made some changes to the factory in terms of the aesthetics. So I've put down some markings for walking around the factory, made it a little bit nice in terms of the gloss look and feel. Slowly but surely we'll start actually enhancing the factory throughout. Today's episode is about going through to the power plant down that side and actually changing the recipe for the fuel to actually use diluted fuel. That way we can make a couple more generators, so we'll put together a shopping list soon for that. So there's two other things I want to do before we go in and start doing the adjustments to the factory in terms of the fuel output. Let's start looking at what we're going to be doing for this third part for the propulsion and for the cooling system. So the thermopropulsion rocket actually requires that we have the cooling system created, and the cooling system requires that we have the heatsink. And if we go back to the thermal propulsion, you'll also notice that it also requires the turbo motor, and the turbo motor actually isn't being made yet because we don't have the cooling system. So we're going to go a step phase. It's going to be the heatsink machine, cooling system machine, turbo motors, and then we can start getting everything else automated for that third part. But before we do that, we have to go and flesh up the power station. So we're going to do that shortly. Then the other thing I wanted to do is to go and do some final research. So let's see what we can actually do to enhance. So we've actually got all those parts automated now. So let's go and get those. We're going to need 5 high-speed connectors. Cool. And then we're going to need some animal parts for the DNA. So let's get that sorted. Let's make protein first. Okay, so we need to get some of the meats. I think we need 10 of those, so let's grab a couple more and we can actually make some additional proteins. Cool, let's get those to DNA. And then we need 5 more crystal oscillators. Cool, and that's that whole tree done. So we should get a completed badge. Okay, Caterium. Let's do the next set. Okay, the zip line's done. We're going to be able to do quite a bit of these research now because we've quite ahead in the factory, which is awesome. Okay, AI limiters beams. Do this one so long. So these are power switches for the factory to turn off and turn on certain wings in your factory. Very cool if you want to sort of control power to specific areas. So let's go and get the beams and AI. Before, let's just have a check to see what else we need. We've got enough of that. So we just need some rubber, rifle bullets, beams and AI. There's the AI. Let's go get the beams. And then the rifle bullets, I think we can make at the equipment station. Let's have a look. Oh, we got the rubber. Okay, so rubber and then 50 supercomputers. Just carry some extra on me. Thermo generator. Nice. We can go and throw that on a couple of geysers once we can scan for them. Okay, so what's with the bullet guidance? Do we actually need to get that, I think, from the sulfur chain? I think we actually need to get that from the sulfur chain. So we can go do some of those just now. So that's that whole tree bar those. Mycelia, we've got some of that to do, but we can do that later. Do we have any berries and nuts? We got nuts, no berries. Okay, so I'll keep a lookout for those when I'm out and about. Okay, the quartz side. We can make a couple more of the rebars for those. Cool, let's go get the heavy. Cool. And we just need to make 60 iron rebars. Chipping away at all the research. Nice. I'd like to get the detonator, but for that we're going to actually need to make the black smoke. So we can always do that later on. Definitely priority is power this episode. So I'd like to use the new scan. So if we go into the scan now, we'll have the ability to get the scanner. So let's scan and see if we've got any generators nearby we can throw in for some extra power. And then the requirements. Okay, so that is just across from here. It's a nice pure one, and then we've got two others over this side here. So let's go and do this one over here. And in order to do that, we're going to need to get the thermal generator. So let's maybe stick on that one. So we've got enough for one of those. Let's maybe have enough materials for 3, just in case we decide we want to do more. So we're going to need some more high speed. Cool. Okay, so let's scan again. Plan our route. It's going to be dead across in that pool, actually. I think it's underneath where our starter factory was. So what we can do is we can catch the hypertube that side. We'll drop down, link it up, and see how much power it gives us. Okay, we should be a lot closer now. Yeah, it's in the pool back there. So let's drop down underneath here. It's going to be right by our water pump, I think, for the ammonia solution that we were busy making. Yeah, I can see it over there. Might need to take care of the couple of nests here. Let's just shoot those out. Oh, I made all the iron rebars when we did the research. That's painful. And then where's this guy that was shooting us here? Okay, those pesky guys are sorted. Let's just swat these other ones away. Okay, let's link up this power. So we got that power over there, which is great. Let's go to our power generator, thermo. Swing that around to the cable facing this way. Let's see. Cool, so that's generating quite a couple of bits of megawatts. That's actually awesome. Okay, so let's connect this up. Nice, that's a little power boost. Awesome. Is there anything else close by here? Okay, that one we've now tapped. I think the other one's down there on the train network. Round about here, I remember seeing it. Okay, we got one dead ahead there. That side. We're going to be heading towards the train station, so anything this side would be great to do. What I'll do is I'll get that side and we can actually do another scan from there. I didn't actually realize these provided quite a lot of power. That's actually very cool. Okay, let's head back to base. I'll catch the hypertubes there. Next thing I'll be on the train, and then we can start seeing what to do in terms of fleshing out the power plant. Train's fully loaded. Our character's got all the items we need. We're on the way to the power plant on the right hand side here. You can see it coming up. So I've done a little bit of prep in terms of putting down some additional foundations and building it up a little bit so that we can start working on the build. So we currently have the 34 generators at the bottom, and we'll do the math now when we get there, see what we need to switch out in terms of recipes and in terms of the blender, throwing in that, and then we can work on the diluted fuel adjustments. So let's get down there and start looking at how we can flesh out and change the build slightly. Okay, so I'm done at the build now. Just to do a recap, we've got 600 crude oil coming from there, filling up the fluid buffer. That 600 crude oil is then split in half between these refineries on this side, 5 on this side and 5 on that side. So each refinery, like you see, is taking 60 crude oil, so that's 300 on this side, 300 on that side. And the current recipe that we're doing is just putting out fuel and getting polymer resin. Now polymer resin is built up. So the plan was to do something with this, but now I'm debating if we should even keep that with our new recipe. So if I just put down a refinery here, just so we can compare the recipe, you'll see that this one produces plastic and rubber and all those other things, and this can go directly to fuel. So if you look at the heavy oil residue, and let's say we change the recipe, because if we change this to produce rubber or to produce plastic, and I'll temporarily switch this here, you'll see that it produces heavy oil residue for the plastic and also does the same thing for the rubber. So if we were to switch out these buildings here, the first issue is that we're going to have 30 crude oil, and that'll only be 150 that side, 150 that side, because we've only got 5 machines. But what we could do is 200% all of these in that queue and 200% all of those in that queue, and then what we can do is we could then run this much more efficiently, so it would produce 40 rubber and 20 or 40 heavy residue. But now if we have a look at the recipe for the fuel, you'll see that it's got 60 incoming and 40 outgoing. Now if we can compare that to the blender recipe for the diluted fuel, just to give you a comparison, the diluted fuel takes 50 but puts out 100, so it is far more efficient in terms of the difference between the two. Yes, we have to worry about the water, but that's really a non-event. So this is my thinking, is let's change these recipes on the side to produce plastic with heavy oil residue byproduct. Let's change all of these to produce rubber with heavy oil residue byproduct. That means that we'll get 100 residue from this side and 200 heavy oil residue from that side when we overclock these to 200% each. So we'll have 300 in total. And if we look at our blender, the blender takes 50 in terms of its input. So 3 of these on the one side will give us 150, 3 on the other side another 150, so we need 6 blenders in total, and that means we're going to go get 600 water for the input for the machine, but we're going to be producing 600 fuel, and currently we're producing 40 on this side times these 5 machines, so that's 200 on this side, and then we've got 200 on that side. So yeah, 400 combined, and if we look at the 400 fuel combined divided by 12, that gets us 33.3 recurring, and that's why we've got 17 generators on that side and 17 on this side. I think the one in the front is underclocked, yeah, to make it work. Okay, so let's switch these recipes out to plastic, switch these out to rubber, double up the production, and then I'm thinking what we do is we go upstairs here And this is where we'll build our 3 blenders on that side, 3 blenders on that side, and then we'll start running another set of fuel generators at the top. So let's see what we've got to move and switch out the recipes and get started. Let's just chat about the complexity here. So now what's going to happen is these are producing fuel, and the minute we do the switch, they're going to produce heavy oil residue. So the issue is that all these generators are then going to stop working because they're going to stop getting fuel. So we need to prepare the build and then do the switchover. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking from here, this end, running it up onto the platform above, filling it into a fluid buffer upstairs, that will then collect all the heavy oil residue, so we can do something like that. Then those will split between the 2 blenders on either side. Then what we can do is we can run that further along to that side. That'll then fill up another fluid generator with fuel from the blenders, and then we can feed that down into the other one below. So I think that's going to be the best approach. Let's maybe get started with floor units, and then we can see from there where we're going to build and position things. So if we do it here, it's going to be on the cusp of that one. So we go directly up here. Looks like it's going to be about there. If we run this cable temporarily to there just to see how it looks, does that look straight? Yeah, I think that looks good. So let's delete that now so we don't send fuel where it's not needed. And then we can come upstairs and see where we can position the fuel buffer. So I'd like it to be in line with the other one. So it's going to be on this side here. So let's do this, get the organization, get the fluid buffer, position it here. I think it's on this one. Those 2 seem to match now. Yeah, that looks good. Cool, and then we can just feed this into here. And then this is going to actually have the heavy oil. And then that should fill up with the heavy oil residue. Now let's find a way to split this between the blenders. So we're going to need 2 different lines here. And then we're going to need our blender. That's looking good there. Same thing on this side, facing this way. We could actually line up the outputs. The machines wouldn't wouldn't be in line, but at least the inputs would be. So I think that's going to be correct. No, it's on this side. Okay, so let's position those outputs in the middle rather than the machine in the middle. Something like that. Yeah, we can do the same thing on this side. And that way both the outlets will match and line up. And that was on this one, like that. And now those are going to meet up for the fuel. So now if we do this, that'll be good. Okay, but we need to bring it a lot closer here. So let's bring this generator in. Blender in. Like that. Okay. And then let's link those together. So that's going to be carrying the fuel. And we'll do 3 more or 2 more on each side here. Yeah, don't need to link that up. That would be a bad way to do it. Because this is going to be splitting between the inputs of the generator. The blenders. Then the other complexity is where we're going to run the water from. So let's have a look, because these recipes for the diluted needs heavy oil and water. We're going to get the heavy oil from there. Maybe what we can do is run up something from back here. I think that'll be pretty cool. We can have the water generators here. So let's see. I think they do, what, 240 each? Or was it 120 each? Okay, 120 each. So we can underclock them and then have 6, or just leave them fully clocked and have 5. So let's position 5 along the edge here and then see from there. So we're going to need that. Just trying to line up with one of those. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe one more this side. 5. Yeah, that's looking good. Let's maybe put down another organization. We can get another fluid buffer. Something to run up that side. Like that. Let's connect all of these together. I don't like the fact that it's going to go through the pole. I suppose we can always move this because this power isn't linked to anything just yet. It's just letting us hover. Let's bring this nice and closer here maybe. Yeah, that's looking good. This one just doesn't line up here because we don't have enough space by the edge, but that's fine because we can just put it on the end here. And then let's just link up this to power. That should be getting us a lot of water. And then let's run this up. That's nice and straight. No, it's a little bit skew. Bring it one more forward. Still a little bit skew. Okay, I'll tell you what, just let's do that. Delete this. Bring this down from here. Seriously, look up that nudge tool. I've seen someone use it in terms of how to nudge their buildings after placement. That would be very useful right now. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, then let's link the storage between it. The fluid buffer. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to need is we're going to need a booster for the pump. Yeah, that's looking good. That's slowly filling up. That's slowly going to start pumping soon. Let's try that again. Come on. Let's leave that to fill up a bit more. Okay, then this is going to fill up with the water now that we need to split between the two. So I'm thinking let's do a stackable one like that. Or maybe in between here, even like that. Or from one side to the next. Yeah, I like it. One side to the next. Let's go there. Okay, and then let's put a splitter or a join here. Well, then we can just feed that along the edges here. So let's do that now again for the next couple. Let's put down 3 more generators, or 2 more each side. Again, this can run to the end of the machine. Cool, and the same the other side. Okay, again to the end of the machine this way. I think it was just one too far. Okay, let's join these up. Would help if I did a different one. Can't all have them off the top one. Okay, that's looking good there. That's all linked on this side. So we should be getting our water coming up now from the pump. Yep. That's pumping away from here. Yep, looking good. Cool, that's snug as a bug. Okay, let's do the rest. This is obviously going to be carrying the fuel now. And where's the power attachment for these guys? There on this side. Okay, so let's put down there in the middle. And then let's link this to the power source. So now all the blenders are getting power. We've got the water coming in. When we do the switch, all of these should work. Let's just make sure all of the machines have the right recipe selected for the diluted fuel. Cool. And then let's have a look, see where the storage is beneath us. So that's over there. What we can do then is let's dump from here. Let's do this. Actually, let's put it in the middle so we know exactly where it's coming up. That. Yeah. Let's look up from here. Delete that one. Okay, so this is where the attachment has to be for the fuel. We can link it just on this portion here. Like that. Then we'll delete that one here, put in a block, and then we'll do the switch of all of these. And the generator shouldn't trip, but if it does, we've always got the backup in terms of the power, so that's not too much of a train smash. So let's do the switch, and then yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, so this one's going to be changing to plastic, and we want that at 200%. Okay, let's copy that, paste it here. Okay, that's 200, 200, 200. I didn't know the copy paste also copies the shards. That's cool to know. I didn't know that. Okay, then let's delete this. Flush the pumps in the front. Bring down the one that we need. Why wouldn't it let me build on this? Pipe has invalid shape. That's frustrating. What to do now? I thought it would let us come down at this angle. Definitely doesn't. Okay, so we're gonna have to put it like a normal one and then feed down from the side, I guess. Oh, was it the type of mode that I had selected? Let's just double check. I think I had a different mode selected. Okay, and then now if we do this, There you go. Okay, so it was just the mode we had wrong. That needs to be pushed forward. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, link that in there. Let's change the recipes on this side. So this is going to be the rubber. And again, we want this at 200%. Okay, so we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 200 on this side. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 100 on this side. So that's going to be 300 going up. These are now going to be switched to the plastic and the rubber. So let's just delete these ones for now. And then we can see our plastic and rubber coming in. Let's head upstairs, check the generators. I mean the blenders. Okay, so this still needs the heavy oil residue, so that we don't possibly have a pump that's going to send it up here. So all the machines should be filling up. Oh yeah, we didn't do the connection. That was the plan. Let's put on a MK2 pump as well. Okay, that's going to send it up. And our blenders should kick on as soon as this starts getting material. There it comes. This should start getting fuel as soon as those blenders kick on. Come on, don't starve the machines. Okay, so the water, the heavy oil's coming in, water's coming in. Yeah, that's filling up. That's filling up. Yeah, it's about to kick on soon. Okay, so now we can be producing 600, and currently we've got 34 downstairs. So if we just shoot downstairs and fully clock the one that was under clock, this one, let's put that one to 100%. So now we've got 34 downstairs that are operating at 100% efficiency. So 34 times 12. So we're eating 408 downstairs. And if we look at the total 600 divided by 12, we need 50 in total. So the reason why it's 600 is because each of these puts out 300 fuel. Oh, sorry, 100 fuel. So that's 600 in total. So we're going to be wanting to put some additional fuel generators on top now, like we obviously chatted about. So let's put another buffer at the top here for the other fuel generators we're going to be building. Why are we so starved for water? Let's go and check everything down. So we need 600 water for each, 100 for each machine. This one looks like it's clogged and not filling up anything. This one's also clogged. Is this... This is going... I don't think we need a second pump. This is just slowly filling up. Okay, so this just needs more time to fill up. So let the fluids equalize and then we'll see from there. In the meanwhile, what we can do is let's get back to building the generators. So we need 50 in total and we've got 34. So 50 less 34 is 16. So let's do 8 each side upstairs. Let's go to the power, fuel generators. Okay, we need more motors. Let's head back to the train. Now that we've got the materials, let's place the additional generators that we need. Okay, so we're going to have that one there. Let's get the pipeline across. Make sure we get enough room to place them. And then let's run power to both sets and not just the one. I made that mistake below as pointed out. Thanks again. Okay, 7 more each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's connect these up with the junctions. Or was I one a little bit over? Ah, which one's skew? One of these is skew. We'll just do the cross junction first, and then we'll place the generators after. That all looks better, lining up nicely. This one too close. Okay, and then let's just connect the power to all of these. Okay, just a couple more to connect. And then the last one. Okay, that should be good, guys. Let's have a fly through, just check everything. Okay, so we got the fuel coming into this fuel cell over here, well, the fluid buffer. We got the fuel going down below too for the fuel generators downstairs. These are slowly filling up with all the water now and producing the fuel that's required. Yeah, that's all looking good. So that'll eventually get to its 100% efficiency. These are filling up and being used, so that's great. I think everything's looking good. I'm just going to leave it to run for a bit, and I'll just come check everything's making sure it's running efficiently. Now that everything's been running for a while, everything's running at 100% efficiency. So we've got 600 fuel coming out per minute, which is really cool. So those three all 100, these 3 all 100, and the same thing for all the generators here. So everything's working as intended. So we got a little bit extra power to work with now, which is fantastic. And obviously that pulsing going up and down is just because of the extra geyser now that's putting onto our network. And you can see this is looking fairly stable too. So I think the next step from here is going to be actually getting the rubber that we're producing from downstairs and the plastic we're producing from downstairs onto a train network and delivering it back home. So let's have a quick look how we can wrap this around. So it should be filled up quite nicely. So yeah, we've got a lot of rubber and a lot of plastic now coming out per minute. So we got 200 rubber, and we've got 200 plastic as well. So that's really awesome. Let's see the best way to transport this. I'm thinking it might be quite cool to link it up to a train station along that belt there. Maybe, let's see how we could fill it up. Might be cool actually just to bring it directly overhead here for the one train station. And then the next one as well, on just to the left of that one. So maybe we can bring those inlets from there, wrap it around here, and then go out here slightly. Between these might be quite nice. Let's have a look. So if we put that there, like that one, and that one. Even if we use a wall actually, maybe that'll be even better. Let's put that there. Okay, and then we can bring that up here, and then we'll bring the train stations on top here. 2 right next to each other. I think that'll be awesome. Let's bring the rubber and the plastic around. Cool, that's looking good. I think the best thing to do now is let's go from this platform here. Let's just make a marker of this one, so we know exactly where to come up. I think if I jump, I'll make it, guys. A little risky business. Let's rather just use a ramp for now. I can get up to the platform. And jump, yeah. Okay, so now we know it's going to be this one. And this is going to be the dividing belt between the two different between the two different train stations. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so we're going to bring this one all the way up to there. So let's throw in another wall unit at the top here. Here we're going to have to go to the train and get some more materials. Let me go and do that. Let's extend this foundation down to the bottom here. Now that we've got all the materials. So let's use this one. Bring it down. And then what we could do is we could actually use the power cable here and mount it on the wall. We'll take it up so that we can at least fly up and down. We can traverse the platform. Now we can fly nicely. Okay, so what do we want to do? Yeah, we want to extend this now. So let's link this up. Okay, now the only thing left to do is build the platform on either side, the stations now. So let's get that nice and wide. We've got 10 either side. Did I go one too high? Because we actually want to get it underneath this one. That is a point. That's where we want to be. Let's just clean this up. But we want to get that high because of the train. So that's actually right. We need to bring this wall up. That's what we need to do. There we go. Now that's better. Guess we're going to need the backs of the one train station here. So it's going to be this freight platform. Obviously we're not going to be able to place it. I'm just getting in terms of spacing. We need 2 foundations, so that's 1, 2, 3, need 2 more here, 4, and then this is going to be the front of the train station. Just because we're running a little bit low in cement, I don't want to zoom everything for now. Okay, so this is going to be the front here. We just need to make it a bit bigger. This puts it directly in the walkway. Okay, so we need 1 more bigger on each side. Gonna have just enough concrete. I mean, obviously we're gonna need more to finish this, but at least we're getting the station down. Yeah, like that. Same thing on this side. Thought I was going to be a bit too far over, but this is great. Yeah, that's perfect. And then we'll link up the rest of the storages, but in order to do that we're going to need to get some additional PCs and concrete and rotors. So let's do that. So let's plan it. So we're going to need 8 of these. Let's go and get the materials from the station. Okay, so we need heavy PCs, concrete, and motors. Hey, let's head back. It's going to be so nice getting the extra 200 plastic and rubber now. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so freight platform, and we want it facing this way. Not that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next ones. Cool, then that can feed onto the belts here. Let's put on some splitters. Well, then we'll just link up the other side. Wrong one. That's the outlet, not the inlet. Yep, that looks good. Nice. Okay, let's just set all the settings. So we'll do any. And then this one will also do any on the left. Then the plan from behind the stations is to link them up. So let's give it enough space for the trains to turn. Okay, let's link this one. So then let's loop it around. And the same on this side. Then get up to that last station. And let's go prepare the way onto here. I'm thinking what would be quite cool is they come to this point and then turn around. Let me just plan this. What would have been ideal is if they go there and then go into the back of the machines each. But the problem is that there's not enough turning for that. But I do like that idea the most. I mean, they can always join back. Either way, they're going to join back onto this bolt anyway. So what we can do is we can get everything going left, and then that one joining up on the right, and then that one joining up here. So yeah, I think let's make this 3 wide. Then we need to go straight from this one. To there. And then from this one. I think we're going to need an extra space off the end here. I remember something about not being able to join in 2 different directions. Let's see if I join in that direction. Yeah, I can't join in that direction. So we're going to need an extra space on the end. So let's increase that to have 1 spacer. Like that. Same thing on this side. Okay, now we can turn. Guess we'll have this one turning once this way. And this way. Actually, no, we don't need it that way because it'll never turn that way. You need to move this all over 1 though, because we've increased the distance by 1. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's do the same thing at the back here. So the train's going to come around here and choose either to go into this station or into this next one. So we just need to see where to link this up. It's going to be on this one. And then 2 can choose if it wants to leave the belt and go out this way. Let's see how that looks. Not so sold yet. I don't know why. Oh yeah, we haven't linked up to this to the power. That's why we can't fly around and have a look. So let's link this up. And I think that's all the options. So this train's leaving here, I can go left or onto that one. Train's coming in there. Let's go here and just join this one. And then that one to that one. Yeah, that's looking good. Like our little crisscross. Let's get the floors filled in. Okay, so trains, I don't like how close these two are. That's the only thing I don't like. Let's maybe do this. We can just increase this out a bit on the left here. Still sold on the curve. Maybe let's do it manually, like there. 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 I think that's better. Looks a little wonky. Let's maybe try do it in one motion, maybe from here all the way. Yeah, that's much better. Sold. Yeah, that looks nice. Cool, and then this side. Also a little wonky on this side, but I suppose it's going to come out here and want to join. We want enough here for the train to backtrack just in case. Yeah, I think it's different. Different good, not different bad. But maybe I'm just trying to convince myself. I think it'll do for now, guys. It'll do for now. Okay, let's go put down some trains. So we're going to need one train here. Obviously going to need 3 or 4 compartments. We'll have 4, matching our freights. And then the same thing on the other side. Okay, we should have a nice collection of rubber and stuff coming up. Let's join that onto the belt. That would help. Cool, now that's going to be filling up on the train. Let's just make sure that we set the train to load, which is great. Okay, and then let's set the name of the station. We'll call this one the Power Plastic. Power Plastic P for pickup. Then we'll go to the rubber. Power Rubber P for the rubber pickup. Cool. Just make sure everything's filling in. Yeah, looking good. Cool, and let's just rename these trains. This can be the plastic train. Cool, and then the next one can be the rubber train. Cool, then the only thing we've got to do now is head through back to home base and actually link up the station to come do the drop-off. So let's go and do that. We'll ride our other train home there, that side. We can also fill it up with some additional parts just because we've been using quite a bit from here. So let me ride the train back home and then we can go build the ends. Okay, back home. Let's see what we can actually do to flesh out the landing spot for the plastic and for the rubber. So my original idea was to actually let them come where this train is going over here. So let me show you. And then we've got the belts over this side there. I'll just run a little bit closer before I start explaining. Okay, so this stack over here that's on the inside, that one is carrying all the items, or all the items from this side. So we could easily, for example, extend this network to match the plastic on the other side so that it would actually line up. So let me take you through that, what I'm thinking. So I've got to see where the plastic lines up on the other side. So here's the rubber line, so that's going to be this one. And this one underneath it is the plastic line. So let's extend these this way. Just making sure I got them the right heights. That looks wrong. Yeah, that's right. Cool, so we got the rubber that's going to be coming in on this one, just like the rubber comes in on that one, and the plastic coming in on that one. So it's these two bolts that we want to extend. So let's keep going this way. Need a little bit of power because we keep falling. Let's just grab a pole from this side. Just making sure that I'm on the right ones. Should actually, I just thought of something cool. We should actually just use the colors for these, then I won't get confused. That's actually a good idea. Why didn't I think of this ever before? Okay, nice. So now we know exactly which ones should be lining up. It'd be actually cool to associate different colors with different items so that I could just learn those. That would be very, very cool. Okay, so let's link these up. So of course, which color swatch did I select? Not that one. Was it this one? Yeah, it looks like it's this one. Cool. So now these are the plastic and rubber ones. So now what we can do is we can bring those down from here and actually get the train station dropping those off onto the belt from this side, which would be quite nice. Or possibly even a bit further, use this as the logistics belt. So we could extend this layer and then bring any logistics that we wanted from the train additionally onto here. But we would need quite some space to do that. So maybe rather than collapsing it all there, it might actually be nice for us to do it underneath the platform. Something like along the lines of underneath here, and then we could have it coming from under the associated train station, sort of like a logistics layer. That might actually be quite neat. I do like that idea. Then what we could do is we could then extend this, just avoiding the bottom floor, and then we could put any item that we wanted onto it. It just gets a little complex because this belt chain's in the way. So I don't know if we should swing around maybe the other side of the factory. Let's just go and have a look. Let's check. Yeah, I think we're a bit starved for space with the cliffs and the hills and stuff here. I'm not against going underneath the trains. It would be nice from a logistics point of view. How could we get them nice into the belt? Because technically, these are all the items that we're essentially making. And there's quite a few belts that we'd need underneath. But I suppose we only have to really worry about the plastic and the rubber for now. Unless we took it on the inside here and then created holes and pointed them that way. Or did I overhang with the wall? Okay, let me give this some thought and then I'll come back with the solution. Okay, so I've given it some thought. This is what I'm thinking. Let's create a set of bolts up on the side and the inside of this bolt set. So like this. And we want to go to the height of the current rubber and plastic. For now at least, because those are the ones that we're looking to transport this side. Just need to bring some more power up this way. So we can fly. So this is my thinking, is we can stack all the bolts up here and down here. Then we're going to have another set of foundations on the outside of this that matches. So if we're going to do 2 lines, because I don't think we'd need more than 2 lines, and that's going to be this, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we can stack on top of this one. Then those 2 should be able to reach. Again, let's just bring some more power this way so we can fly. Link the belts. Yep, those 2 lined up. So we're going to do this as high as we want for all the items on the inside. Then we're going to be bringing across the plastic and rubber. So what we can do is we can bring anything that we want down onto this bolt and feed it. So we'll have a slot here for the rubber, a slot here for the plastic, a slot here for anything else that we want, and then the same thing in between all of those if we want to start feeding anything else from the trains on here. So let's go for a merger. And we'll link it up in line with this one. I did the same mistake and not do the inverse of the direction with R, so let me do that properly. Okay, it's a little bit to the left. There you go. That one's linked up. Let's do this one. Okay, so that's going to be linked up now in terms of the plastic and the rubber. That's going to feed along here. Join in this network here, go to the rubber there, and then the plastic there. So the top one is the rubber. Okay, so this one, the top one is the rubber, and the second one is the plastic. So now we can possibly just move these rails. And then we got space now for the logistics. Now the plan is definitely to come underneath here. And let's maybe go as high as the player can walk. So let's go something like this maybe. I think that'll be enough. And then we can just zoop this. And this can then be the foundation for our logistics network. And then we can feed the plastic onto this one, and then the rubber onto this one. And that can come from the trains that we're going to be putting, and then we won't have to worry about going over the rails. So let's now worry about where we're going to position the trains. I'd like to maybe have them come off here, go back in a full loop here, so the train stations would have to be in the center facing this way. That would be ideal, and they can just go into the relevant one that they want to and come and park. So we're going to need a space in the front of that rail, so we're going to need at least one more row on this side. And I see we're running low on concrete. Let me go grab some and then we can flesh it out. Let's extend the platform now with more resources. Okay, so then a train can come from this side. Seriously, I don't have enough stuff for rails. Okay, let me go get that. Okay, we've got enough materials now, hopefully. Let's try this again. So what I was saying is I'd like to take the train off of this station onto here. So let's maybe feed it from there. As a starting point. And then what that's going to do is we're going to be able to take the trains are going to be able to drive off of this one onto this one into the back whatever station they want to come and drop off their relevant parts. So temporarily let's just delete this one, connect this to the on. There you go. Now trains can come off of this belt. And then we can have the plastic train station. We're going to need one belt in front. So let's delete all of the... It would be easier to do this, to delete the rails. And then we'll just zoop the floor. Didn't even delete some of the rails. Gotta be pixel perfect deleting these guys. Let's get a little bit closer. Okay, now we're gonna need this to be able to join onto that line there. So we're going to need enough space for it to turn and still enough space for the front of the station because we want that one block. So I'm thinking something like this spacing. Looks like it might be okay. So we got enough space on the left hand side for the train. Let's have a look. And then just one space in front. Yeah, I think that's going to be too close to the belt. We're just going to move back more. try that. One space in front. And then link to the belt. Okay, so we can go one more forward. Definitely didn't look like we could. But, seems like we can. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so now let's get this. Those can then come off the belt back onto the network this side. Let's do this so we can fix our trains. There you go, so that one can come down now. Cool, and then we can have infinite train stations going this way and behind them. And then all of them are going to feed onto that logistics layer underneath, going onto all that belt, then connects to the factory and goes to the rest of the storage. Sounds like a plan. Okay, so we're going to have them all coming off from the same side. So I think let's get a freight platform going on this side. 2, 3, we want another one. Four. And then these are going to feed into the underground ones, so let's link these. And we can extend that network. The nice thing about doing all of this work is it's a little bit of a setup in the start now. But let's say, for example, we want to go and make a motor factory. We literally can just go make the motor factory, make a train pickup and an associated drop-off just above us here, feed it onto this network and then connect it to the belt, and our factory can instantly amp up on production. And this becomes very useful when we start hitting the maximum of the sushi belt, because currently we're not near the maximum of the sushi belt. I think we only got 300 or so something items per minute on the sushi belt. But the minute that hits its max, then the factory comes to a halt because there's nothing more that we can optimize in factory. That's why these sort of networks for the train become very, very useful. Looking good. Okay, so let's do this one. We'll call this one the plastic drop-off, because this one is, the plastic is lower than the rubber, if I remember. Yep. So let's call this the plastic drop-off. Okay, and then we need another station literally next to it, with a space in between, just so we got space for the logistics to not look so cramped. Right in front again. Yeah, just like that. With another spacer. And then we just need to link this onto the belt again now. So let me do that and link it up. Okay, let's go put on the extra 4 freights. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the same thing, hook up now for the items. So we're going to do this one. 1, 2, 3. Oh, missed that one. 3, 4. Okay, let's connect these up. Well, then we'll call this one the rubber drop-off. And then let's link all these backs. So again, let's just have one off the back. For turning purposes. And spacing. And if this is going to be enough, actually. We might have to make this come off a little bit on the side, or move these all over, which is kind of frustrating. If we could maybe get it going across in the second one, that'll work. Because we're not going to have the angle now. So if I go back here, and then we feed back the belt so we know what angle we're going to need it at. Let's see, so let's put this one behind, and then to the side. There. Okay, we literally need over one more. Which isn't a problem, we can make that work. Luckily enough. Let's bring it to there. Then we can join that onto the network again. I'd say over there maybe. Not that one, the other one. I got confused between the directions here. Let me just fix this. This one that we wanted to hook up. We did all the way. Yeah, that works. I'm happy with that. Cool. So then that'll work and connect straight into the back of that train station. Then we just got to do the next one. And obviously this is going to continue on for all the other stations that we want as well. But for now, we'll just link these two, because we don't have any additional ones. And then we just need to do the pathing signals. Or the block signals. Come on, place. Here you go. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so the only thing we forgot to do now is we need to go and sort out and place down the correct block signals on the train stations that side. So that's one thing that we have to do. So let me catch a train that side and we can sort it out, and then we can start bringing the materials over this way. Okay, so I've caught the train over this way, and we're at the place where we can do the block signals and relative pathing signals. So let me show you these. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our block signal and we're just going to put block signals everywhere. So as you can imagine, there's trains that can go this way, that way, on there, off there. There's lots. So let's place a block on every location. So let's go to this one and we'll do this one first. Okay, so that's going to be a block there, rinse and repeat for all of these for the ins and outs. And then the last one here. Okay, so now we've got block signals on everything. So now the trains can technically work here. And as you can see, that color is different from the other colors. But now there's a problem, because what's going to happen is a train that's coming in here, for example, that's going to go there and drive in here, will completely block this network. If we had a train that wanted to go from here out that way, they wouldn't be able to do it, even though this train and that train could technically go along those paths without an issue. And that's where path signals come in. And the way you can do a path signal, or the way I understand the path signals easily, is sorry, that one's the wrong way around. Let me put this one the right way around. Every in and out has an associated path. So what you want to do is, this has the choice of going left or right. This one then needs to be a path signal because you can choose where to go. And you'll see after laying blocks on all of these, if I just change this to a path, it's going to show you that all of these other ones are also options to come onto the network. So those in turn also need to be path signals. So if we update that to a path signal and that to a path signal, then everything stabilizes. So rule of thumb, you want a path signal before you split, and you want a block signal after you split. And now you can see the train's going to come in here, this train's going through there, and this train should just carry on going and then go through this way. So again, just make sure you have your path signals before your blocks. So what we can do is we can neaten this up a bit, because we don't need that many blocks here. Well, and then let's go through to this side and put on the associated blocks here again. So we're just going to put a block signal down. Okay, another block signal here. Same thing on the other station. Okay, now what we want to do is it's the same thing in terms of the options. You'll see before here should be a pathing signal, so the trains could either choose to go straight or right. So this will be a path signal here that leads to a block signal. This will also be a path signal that leads to a block signal. And then we're going to need a block signal on this path as well here, because the one in front of the trains have, this one is missing. So now we can put that one down there, and now everything should work. So trains have the option going there or straight, here, there or straight. That's the associated block, block and block. So each one has its exit. And that's how you do it. So if you at all in doubt or struggling, just put blocks on all your nodes, and then just make sure each entrance or the way the train is running towards has the path signal for it to put down as its option. So now, with that all being said, we can actually start the trains. They're going to be loaded. The plastic and rubber is full. And then we should have our station loading that side quite nicely. The only thing that I did forget to do on the logistics side is to actually make allowance for the train stopping. So as soon as the train starts, sorry, not stopping, docking. So as soon as the train docks, it halts the items coming into the train. It's not a problem this side, because if you remember, we've got our storage units that are holding the items over there. So when that does block up here, those still are going to be filled, and as soon as the trains go, that's going to release the items. So we need to do the same thing on the logistics side. So we'll make that amendment when we get back to the base on that side. But let's start the trains. Let's put their programming on. And I think, look at the naming conventions of the trains. I think we've called all our other trains without a space in the name. So the copper, no, it is space T. Okay, so that's awesome. So this one's the plastic train, so we're going to edit its timetable, and we're going to have it going to the plastic drop-off and the power plastic pickup. So power plastic pickup, plastic drop-off. And then, yeah, turn on, let it ride off, and then by the time we get that side, the base will be full from the plastic. Let's do the same thing for the rubber. So this is rubber train, so we want it to come to the plastic rubber pickup, power rubber pickup, and then the rubber drop-off. There we go. And now these two are going to pick up items and go off. As the plastics one is going to go off first, let's jump onto that one. And then that can take us home. Again, this train is going to enter the network now and change this from a green to a red signal, which is going to stop that train coming onto it as well. Oh, I just noticed we actually need another block here. And technically this is also going to be, could be a path signal because it is a valid path, but we also want them to be blocked, so I'm not too phased about that because it's not a multi-lane. Nice. Trains are fully loaded on the way home. Okay, I'll just wait for the trains to get back there, and then I'll start it up again in terms of the recording, just so you don't have to watch the whole train journey. Back at home base now. You can see the plastic train's about to do its parking. The rubber train I'm riding on is coming in. So the plastic train's just turning in now to come drop off its items. And we're on the way to there, so as soon as it gets there, it's going to start offloading those items. So I think ultimately we would like to have the storage units underneath on the floor, so we might actually increase the space in the bottom. But this should loop around, go behind the plastic train, and then into the rubber one. Like clockwork. Cool. And the only thing that we didn't set is we didn't set to offload. So we have to actually put these to unload the train. So let's do that. So that otherwise it's not going to put anything off the train. It's going to put everything onto the train. So let's just make these changes. Can't do it while the train's docking. Just let it leave and then we'll sort it out. Okay, now we can do it. Okay, so now let's hope that there's enough space. But I don't think so. Definitely not going to be enough space. Okay, so we're going to need to make this one floor lower across the board, so that we can fit in our storage. So you'll see here, obviously I do this isn't going to work. And even if I do this, it's a little tight, but it works. But not ideal. But not too much of a train smash. Let's see what I did there. I don't think it's actually going to be too bad, because it's just for the duration that the train's dropping off stuff. I don't think we'd need a double buffer. We can always try the single buffer, and then if that doesn't work, we can make a different plan. So let's give it a bash, let's see. Because I don't know, I don't like the floor being that high for a logistics network. Okay, so we're going to need to merge all of these guys facing in the direction towards the base. Okay, then let's have the stations go into our storage. And then we'll link it up. So this first one is going to be the plastic one, yeah, because the rubber is higher. So this is the plastic. That should be good. And then we should get a whole lot more coming into our plastic and rubber. So that's going to offload here. Now, the other trick I wanted to show you that I didn't explain for these stations up here is, as you see, more and more trains are going to be entering and exiting the network. So ideally, you want to try and keep as many trains off the network as possible so that they don't have to slow down so much between intersections. So what I wanted to show you now is this train here for the plastic. If we go and look at that one, and we go and look at the plastic train, you'll see we can edit the timetable on the plastic drop-off to actually do wait until the freight is fully unloaded or loaded, or wait, and I like to do 300 seconds. And if we save this and save those changes now, it means that when the train does come drop off the items, it's not going to just drop them off and immediately head off. It's going to drop all of them off, and if the containers are completely empty, or it's waited 5 minutes, it'll go. So if it's completely empty, we want it to go, but if it isn't, we want it to stay. So let's do the same thing here for this one, for the train, for the rubber. And again, it's on the drop-off, so on the rubber drop-off, we want to wait for the freight train to be fully unloaded. So if we save this now, it means that both of them are going to stop. So as soon as that train comes back, and I believe that here they're coming in right now, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Good timing. So the plastic train is going to come in, it's going to drop off. It will be able to, or should be able to, drop off all the items in it. So it won't actually wait, and it should just drive off. But the next time it comes, because these containers won't completely be emptied possibly, then it will wait the duration. What you can also do is you can play with the settings, and you'll see you can also do ands. So rather than actually do an or block, you can change this to do an and block as well. So you force it to wait that duration. But we want to get as much plastic off the network and as much rubber off the network as we can. So I don't mind waiting for it to be fully unloaded, or the 5 minutes. Cool, so that's done the offload. You'll see that this train now is completely empty, so it's not going to wait now. It's going to head off immediately to go and get more resources. But if we weren't feeding it onto the belt and underneath the logistics was keeping it, then it would wait here. So because we're not processing the materials, it's a really good feature added for the trains. Cool, and the rubber's going to do the exact same thing now. The world is coming alive. I think the only other thing I'd like to do now is just to finalize the other geyser that's close by, and then I think we've done quite a lot in terms of this episode, especially with laying the foundation for some additional power. Although we have used a lot with the additional 4 stations that we've thrown on the network with the 2 extra trains, etc. But let's have a quick check on how we're doing on the power, because we were at 10 max before we started, and I think we were 9 on the usage. And if we're going to have a look now, 13, almost 12, so that's okay. Let's go and throw in another geyser in terms of that side over there. I think when I did the scan it was over that way, so let's go and do that, and then we'll wrap it up. And then what I'd like to do in the next episode is start focusing on the cooling system and the heatsink in anticipation or preparation for doing the thermal propulsion engine. And then we'll have to look at nuclear power after that. So looking forward to those two as well. The only problem is we're going to actually have to get power here because we're not going to have a station to go off of. So let me switch to the jetpack. I'll drop down here and then we can just run a power cable from down this side towards there. Oh, we don't have a long enough cable, that's for sure. Okay, I'm gonna shoot up, get some cable, and we can extend it. Okay, I got the additional cables. Let's carry on. Cool, let's go for our geothermal. Oh, seriously. Okay, we need we need heavy. Okay, I'll be back just now. Okay, and we're back. Okay, let's throw in this geothermal. Ah, nice. Awesome. Let's squeeze a little extra power. Cool guys, I think that's it for this episode. Thanks a lot for joining. Looking forward to the next one where we can start working on the next part for the thermal propulsion. But awesome, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ciao.